This is Bob Sansevier. I'm here with Vikings beat writer Rick Alonzo, deputy sports editor John Plume, and special guest appearance by sports editor Mike Bass. Now, Rick, what impressed me about the Vikings the other day is they did what a good team is supposed to do. They routed a lousy team. What's impressed you the most about this 5-0 team?
You know, I think it's exactly what you just said. You know, they haven't played down to the competition as much as they have in the past. They took advantage of the Rams' mistakes in the red zone the other night. And, you know, I mean, certainly the Rams gave the game away, or at least, you know, did everything they could to ensure a blowout. But, you know, give the Vikings credit. They took advantage of it. You know, but I'm really curious about the next 3 games because I think we don't really know just exactly how good these Vikings are right now. They're 5-0. But who have they beaten? I mean, the only team they've beaten with a winning record right now is San Francisco. They're 3-2.
Now, Mike, anything about this team that makes it stand out to make you think maybe the fans have a reason to be optimistic? Because a lot of them are now.
It definitely does. There's a certain something about them. You just watching them on television, they have a certain air about them, a confidence. With Favre there, you can tell that they feel like they can do anything. And maybe that win, that last-second catch by Greg Lewis, really emphasized that.
Now, John, you what alarms us about this team?
I don't think the run defense is as good as it's been in the past 3 years. I think Pat Williams is starting to show a little bit of his age. He got pushed around rather easily on Sunday. And granted, the Vikings are one of the top, red zone defenses in the league, but you really want to see this defense start playing up to their capability. And maybe their capability right now is they are a middle-of-the-road defense.
Rick, when you look at that defense, and you go by position, giving up the type of yardage they're giving, especially in the passing game, I mean, is it just that they're, you could go with the cliches, the bend not break, which it has been, but are there bigger issues and deeper issues like John suggests?
You know, it's interesting. You know, they have different game plans from week to week where they're willing to give up certain yards to certain guys. You know, the tight ends, they've talked about that a lot. I mean, we've seen tight ends pretty much throughout the season, make a lot of plays on them. But, their mentality is that that's fine. I mean, we'll give up those yards, the short, intermediate stuff, as long as we're not giving up the big plays to the receivers down the field or, getting gashed by the running. But on the flip side, I mean, if you look at it in terms of points allowed, they're third in the league, only giving up 18 a game. And that's really what matters most because at the end of the day, the scoreboard is the number one statistic.
Now, John, the season started and it's been Adrian Peterson's team. Is it morphing into Brett Favre's team, or has it become that already?
I think it's become that already. They're not 5-0 unless Brett Favre's the quarterback of this football team. They might have lost 2 or 3 of these games. Adrian Peterson has like 30 more yards than he did last year, but he's scoring more touchdowns. As we go along here, teams want Brett Favre to beat them. They don't want Adrian Peterson to beat them, and I think the Vikings are fine with that.
This week, it's Baltimore and Matt Burke. Is Matt Burke a story really for the fans, or will you be taking a close look to see what happens with him and Pat Williams and Kevin Williams inside? Is that a big part of this game?
No, it's not a big part of the game. It is an interesting part of the game, obviously, those guys going head-to-head. Really, this game is going to be more about all the big key elements. Baltimore's bringing in a very physical defense, and unlike past years, they have an offense that can move the ball, generate yards, with Flacco and Rice. I mean, they've got a legitimate offense now. Really, I think this still comes down to all the main elements. You've got Adrian Peterson and Favre. As long as those guys continue to play well, I mean, it's going to be awfully hard to beat the Vikings.
On that, Rick, John, Mike, thanks for coming. We'll be talking about more of these things in the weeks ahead.